So I'm not sure if you guys were aware, but it's actually, the roles are reversed. We're actually going to get to know Mike McGuire better, and I'm going to be doing the interviewing.
I'm fine with that. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So Mike, tell everybody, you know, kind of your start in radio and, you know, the training that it took to get to this point.
I saw a very long line. I got in it, and they said, congratulations, you're in radio.
Nice, excellent. So is that difficult?
Yeah, well, yeah, and it has been ever since.
So not anybody can just do it?
Well, I don't know about that. Depends on who you ask.
I gotcha.
Now, let me ask you this. How many people come up to you and say, I can do your job, I can get up there and sing? That's all you do is sing.
Oh, I'll tell you, it happened a few days ago at an event. I mean, granted, you know, the guy had a few whiskeys.
That happens
and,
at shows?
Well, one guy said, I said, what do you think of the show? He says, oh, I could have done that. I said, like perform and stuff like that? He says, oh, absolutely. You have the easiest job in the world. And I was like, you know, you're kind of right. I mean, I travel in my bus, I show up, I have a bite to eat, I get up on stage, and I sing. But I said, but it's the 15 years of work that it took to get to this point. I said, so, yeah, it's actually a pretty easy job, and I bet you could do it, but you probably should start now.
You know, it's funny, since I've known you, I've always seen you with something with your name on it. There would be the guitar straps, then there would be the guitar picks, and now you got like a whole merch stand out there. Is there any piece of merch that, do you feel okay with having your face on someone else's chest?
Well, I like it because I'm a fan.
I meant it just like that.
Like, great to meet you. For me, I'm a fan first and foremost, so I have no problem wearing George Strait on my chest, a George Strait shirt or a Garth Brooks shirt. So with that said, I mean, if someone is passionate enough about Brett Kissel music to get a Brett Kissel t-shirt and wear my name or that logo across, you know, their chest, it means a lot to me. So I'm happy with that.
Well, see, I'm wearing the first run of the when the Start With a Song album came out.
That's right.
And people wondering, there's a bunch of, I had a flood in my basement, and I was sad to say that my Brett Kissel shirt got a little ruined.
But granted, hey, and there's always an opportunity for you to get new merch.
Exactly, right outside the front door. Don't forget that, everybody.
Don't forget.
All right, I've been watching this tour go on social media. I've always known you to kind of be the hi there, yes sir, yes ma'am sort of guy. These videos that are coming out, are you getting a little crazy on this tour? Like,
we are, especially our behind the scenes. If anybody has seen them, or if you haven't, please go check it out. But the behind the scenes things are a lot of fun because we were hanging out on the bus for 10 weeks. I mean, you've got to have fun. You've got to make light of every situation. So check out the behind the scenes because we hope that you guys will get a good laugh.
I want to go through some of your bandmates that are friends of mine as well.
Yeah.
You got Manny McKay.
That's right. He's also my second cousin.
I didn't know you guys were related.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's my second cousin.
No kidding.
That's right. His grandma and my grandmother are sisters.
Wow. There's
so it's great that we get to have family on the road.
Well, I've known that kid since way back when we were passing out on each other's couches. So.
Yeah. I've heard the stories, Mike.
Have you heard the Tuesday Night Gong Show story?
The Tuesday Night Gong Show.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they call it.
If anybody follows me on Facebook and you're invited to, I have a photo album that's tucked deep away, and it's called the Tuesday Night Gong Show. And let's just say that somebody decided my driveway would be a good place to have a nap. But
well, driveways are good places.
Yeah, it's a good place. But then you got Ben Bradley on drums.
That's right. Ben is a great guy, Brooks, Alberta, and that's where he's from. And he won just a few years ago the Canadian Country Music Drummer of the Year. So it's great to have someone with that type of talent. But he's also, I mean, he's salt of the earth. He's a great guy. He's the kind of guy that if you had a flat tire at 4 in the morning in the dead of winter, he'd put on his cowboy boots and he'd come out and he'd help you out.
Speaking of salt of the earth sort of people, I have to bring it back to you here for a second. Again, you've had basically a career almost your entire life. Yet, I've seen Brett that handles business, but I've seen Brett that just comes out and hangs out for these sort of things as well. For people that, and we have fans here, for those that haven't caught on yet with the laughing and giggling going on, when it's business time, is it sometimes hard to leave the entertainer side of you out and say, okay, we gotta crunch numbers, I gotta pay some bills here, I gotta make sure that we're not, we're not losing our shirts on this thing?
Well, absolutely. I think this is a business first and foremost. Now, we sell a party. We're here to entertain everybody. That is a big priority for us. And it all starts with a song, it all starts with the art of everything, but...
Like I plugged in a song title, by the way.
Exactly, yeah. It's had to be
Nice.
right.
We see that's marketing right there.
But, you know, business is an important part to keep the wheels spinning on our bus and to keep this going around. Some of the best business people in country music are guys like Garth Brooks or George Strait, Reba McIntyre, Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift Enterprises. I mean, you get an opportunity to continue to do what you do and build this if you're smart in business. And we've all known those stories or watched those biographies of artists who have gone broke or have made poor decisions and their careers didn't last. So it's very important that the business side is taken care of so that we can continue to create music and create art.
That's actually the new meaning of the letters TSE. It used to be Toronto Stock Exchange, but now it's Taylor Swift Enterprises. There's more money
exactly.
there.
There's way more money there.
Stock Exchange. So.
Well, and you think of her humble beginnings, and she's great on social media of showing where she came from, standing on a flatbed trailer singing at a radio party for 14 people when she's 15 years old. Now you fast forward 10 years, she's 25, about to turn 26. You know, one of the richest entertainers in our format. So, I mean, you have to compliment her and what can be done in 10 years.
Brett Kissel, a close second.
Maybe? Nah, I don't think so.
No?
I've got a ways to go.
Okay, all right.
I truly got a ways to go. But never say never.
I want to go down that road for a second here because this is something where I have had the opportunity to spend time on the road with you in the band and see literally you start to finish from a show. And for people that are coming tonight and you see the merch stand set up and you see the stage out here, I almost guarantee that still to this point you probably have some say in what goes where and what happens where, because I remember seeing you come out, you're setting up the staging, you're setting up seats in some cases, putting chairs out. How important is it to you to stay hands-on even though the success keeps coming and coming?
Well, I think it's always important to stay hands-on because I watched a biography of Garth Brooks, and it was talking with his crew and how it would drive them mad because they were so afraid that he was going to fall from the rafters, because he would help set up lights every day. He would set up the spotlight in the arena and he'd climb up in the rafters and he would set up the spotlight over there or over there because he knew in his mind that during the show he was going to go up to the crowd to that moment. And it's something that he didn't ever want to delegate. So if I'm thinking to myself, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, if he can do that, then certainly Brett Kissel on his first Canadian headlining tour can certainly contribute. So for the most part, you know, myself with the band and the crew, we're working very hard to set things up. Granted, I now have a really, really great crew and people that I can trust to set things up properly and to do things well so that I can afford the time to do this and afford the time to do meet and greets and do more press in order to promote the show.
You're a bit of a perfectionist though, aren't you?
I am, and it comes across as being a micromanager sometimes.
Yeah.
But I believe that some of the people who have done the best in business have their finger on the pulse of everything that's going on around them.
Is there ever a time where that's caused some issues between you and maybe the band or even the crew? And have you had to kind of check yourself sometimes as well?
Absolutely, and it's always a learning process, like with any business, you know, to kind of let go of the reins. You know, if I'm the president of the company, we'll say that for an example, of Brett Kissel Entertainment, it's important to allow someone who is delegated to work publicity or someone who's delegated to run the band to let them do that, because if, you know, obviously if you're stepping on their toes, it's going to be very difficult for people to do their jobs. So for me, I'm always there, I'm always overseeing things, but over time I've learned to let go of the reins, which has been very difficult. For anybody who's ever worked in not just entertainment, but worked in any type of high level, you'll understand that that's actually a very difficult process.
When you go through the business side of things, do you have any formal training in this? Like when you were growing up, going to school, did you take any business courses, anything like that, or has this all kind of been learn as you go? Yeah,
it's been learn as you go.
Yeah.
And I've watched a lot of artists in Canada and the United States and see what do they do, what do they do well, what do they do that you know, I think that I could learn from, and it's been learned to do by doing.
Give us some names maybe of people who've kind of helped you along the way. I can think of a few off the top of my head, but I'd like to hear from you of people who maybe we know as successful artists, but have also kind of taken you under their wing.
Well, you know, there's been many. One, you know, recently has been Paul Brandt. And Paul, whenever we've had an opportunity to have a conversation, whether that be for 5 minutes or an hour or two, he has always shared some really great insight into the business side of things. You know, and you can't have a business if you don't have great songs. So that's kind of where it's all going to start. But, you know, you have to make sure that, you know, your business is taken care of. And he's a great advocate for that, a very smart guy when it comes to sponsorship, when it comes to being, you know, your own person and sticking to your guns. Charlie Major has been a great guy. He and I have gotten to know each other over the past few years. We shared a great bus ride from the Dauphin Country Fest back to the airport in Winnipeg. And we talked for 3 hours about the state of country music and where it's going and where it's been. And, you know, he's taught me, you know, whatever you do, save as much money as you can, because you never know when the ride is going to end. And that's very great. But at the same time, you know, then there's someone who says, hey, doesn't matter what's going on, make sure you have fun and smell the roses along the way. So it's great that Charlie Major and Paul Brand have taught me a lot of great lessons.
Those guys, what have they done?
Yeah.
Just kidding. These guys here are all like, hey, we want a chance to watch Mike and Brett talk about business. This is great. This is exciting. So let's talk about the road here, because you've been on the road for a while now. How many shows is this tour total?
Just shy of 50 dates.
Okay, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, and we're excited. We wouldn't have it any other way, because not a lot of Canadian artists have actually done a tour of this size at this level, which is why we wanted to make sure that we hit up as many places as we can and hit up every province and every territory.
So, on the road, there's definitely experiences that go on. I'm going to bring up, you know which one I'm going to bring up, I think a little bit later on here, but I'm wondering if there's been any kind of interesting circumstances on this particular tour.
Yeah, there's been many. I mean, you know, when you think about the different venues that we're playing, tonight, for example, here in Regina, we're playing the Casino, a beautiful show lounge, so we know that we're going to tailor make our set list for this type of show. If we're playing other theaters, or if we're playing a loud, crazy bar, it's a completely different set list. You know, one of the nights I was playing in Thunder Bay at their big college campus bar, and we had a sold-out show, and I go out from time to time into the crowd, and I'll sing a song, stand up on a stool and sing a song, right in the pit, right in the bulk of the people. Yeah. And what happened is, I think one guy, after a few whiskeys, decided he wanted to be Brett Kissel, so he grabbed my cowboy hat, grabbed my microphone, and just started like rapping and saying like, you know, a bunch of swears into the microphone. Oh, no. Me, I'm a good telling guy. I think that stuff is funny. It's a campus bar. There's no kids around. I thought it was funny, but if you've ever seen the clip of, I mean, I can't say it because there's so many swears in the YouTube clip that went viral about the guy in the black sunglasses and the goatee and whatever, grabs the microphone on the news and starts shouting, you know, bad words. Nice. But, I mean, that's what he did at the Brett Kissel show. I'm thinking, good thing we're at a campus bar, because if there are a bunch of little kids out there. So, I mean, it's country music. I mean, that kind of stuff happens when whiskey and country music mix.
I do want to get to the story that you and I share. But before that, this is fresh. Do you guys follow Brett on social media, Facebook, Twitter?
Good.
If you don't, you should look up a story. Go, first of all, click that, and then look up a story. Was this last night this happened with the little girl?
Yeah.
A couple nights ago.
It was 2 nights ago in Campbell River.
Okay, tell this story. I'm just letting you tell the whole story because it's hilarious.
Okay, well, this, from time to time, you know, I'll go into the crowd, but I'll also go and I'll give away one of my guitars, especially if there's someone that I can see in the crowd that is having the time of their life. And this little girl is bopping in her seat. She's literally standing on her seat. She's, I don't know, 4 or 5, singing along to most of my songs. And during Airwaves, I decided, well, if she likes that song the most, I'm gonna go out into the crowd. I'm still singing. I go and I grab her by the hand, bring her up onto the stage. She's standing up here on this kind of stool thing that we have at the front of the stage. And she's singing, having a great time. The crowd's going nuts. Song ends. I hand her the mic. I say, tell me what your name is. She says, my name is Kaylee. Oh, great. Everybody claps. And I said, do you like country music? She says, yes. Like, really big. And the crowd cheers even more. And I said, so who is your favorite country singer? As I'm presenting her my guitar. And she says, Dean Brody. I'm thinking, well, good answer. No problem. And I said, do you have anybody else that you like at all? And I'm looking at her, and she says, nope. I said, okay, well, that's fine. So I gave her my guitar anyway, and I said, what I'd like is, I would like to be your new favorite singer. So I'm going to give you my guitar as some incentive, and I hope you had a good time, and the crowd cheers and everything. So I'm not sure if Dean has heard this story, but I pumped it up on social media, and boy, oh boy, did we ever get a good laugh.
That's tremendous, and you know, out of the mouth of babes. We'll get to your baby and that whole situation here in a second. I think we can figure out most of how that happened to be, but...
Well, whiskey was involved.
Oh, neat.
We'll
get there. But...
I will tell you a quick thing.
Okay.
About that, you know, when you trace it back, is to see what, you know, kind of what was the magical date you can trace back, you know, using math.
Magical date when Mommy and Daddy found the whiskey. Yes,
that's right. And, I was the MC of Darren Savard and Carly McKillop's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a great night. Carly McKillop, a great friend of ours. We were on tour together, One More Girl, last time we were in Regina. And so we trace it back, and I think Darren and Carly are pretty excited that their friends, Brett and Cece, got a little wild at their wedding, and a little baby's born after it.
When you were the MC, did they pay for the hotel, or did you?
No, they paid for the hotel for us, which was nice.
Oh, interesting.
So that's good, yeah.
No, they didn't get the deposit back on that room, didn't they?
No, everything was kept calm and cool. There's no doubt about it. No need to get into those type of stories. But, those are saved for birthdays.
The first time I've seen you blush. This is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm blushing pretty good.
I want to talk about just how hard I've seen you work over the years, and this will segue into kind of the competitiveness within the Canadian country music industry, because it is there. But for people that are just discovering Brett Kissel now, I want to take you back to a night in a town called Josephburg, Alberta. Mm-hmm. And again, I think this is better if you tell the story, but I get to say I was there, and I was the spotlight for most of the night. But
yeah, you were. I mean, with some of the, you know, the equipment, Mike does a lot of kind of behind the scenes work and does great work with cameras and stuff. So we had him come out for these great small town shows, which were kind of the last of a generation for me, because I just signed my record deal. We were about to go out on tour and play a lot more clubs and theaters as opposed to the small town halls. So in Josephburg, which is just outside of Edmonton, a big storm came in, and about halfway through the show, all the power went out.
One phase. We have to wait till the Fortis comes out here and changes the fuse, unless somebody's got a pair of climbing spurs, a belt, and a hot stick and some fuses.
I had my climbing boots and a fuse in my pocket. This was yesterday, and I just... Lights were done, the power was completely out, and instead of sending people on their way to go back home, we decided that we were going to do a strictly 100% acoustic show, which meant that we stood in the front of the stage. We asked everybody to come as close as they could, and I belted at the top of my lungs the rest of the set. And Mike, with his equipment, at least had some spotlights that were run on batteries that were for us, and that was the truest form of the show must go on. And there was no other show that I've ever done quite like that, and there's no other show that has ever been like that since. And I was happy that you were a part of that, and the fans that were there got a one-of-a-kind experience, because the people in the back that actually couldn't really hear, I would do 5 songs at the front, and then as a band, we would walk to the back, stand on 5 chairs in the back and sing for that crowd, and then 5 songs later, we'd walk back to the front, and we would do that for the remaining hour. It means that this concert is going to have to continue a little bit acoustically here. All right. Boscombe, St. Paul, Bonnyville, Vilna, Two Hills, Glendon, Gurneville, Edmonton, Calgary, Josephburg, Morinville, Lethbridge, Camrose, Ayrshire, Gold Lake, Moose Lake, Mini Lake, Saddle Lake, Smoky Lake, Chicken Lake, Evil and Flat Lake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Lost everywhere, man. Started with a song, flicking that match on the gasoline, turning them flashing lights green.
So Brett, what just happened?
The lights went out in Josephburg. Can't even believe it. Like, we were just in the middle of a song and it, boom, it was off. And as they say, I mean, the show had to go on. You know, it just kind of hit me. We're here in, you know, a small town. Everybody's paid a lot of money to be at the show. And then, you know, you got the charity aspect. Everybody's here to raise some money for Stars Air Ambulance. And we wanted to make sure that we did them proud. I mean, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. I mean, I'm so proud of my band that, you know, they stuck with me, and we played for well over an hour just screaming at the top of our lungs.
And I'll start it with a song.
My favorite part of the story is that you had literally just signed your Warner Brothers record deal.
Yeah.
You have a brand new contract. This label is investing in you, and you potentially trash your voice for the rest of your life by belting out of the top of your lungs for an hour. That was a big risk.
It was, and you know, you've got 500 people that are there, but you know, they're there to hear country music, and they've paid their X amount of dollars per ticket so that they could be there, and it was important for me to provide, I guess, regardless of the risk or the fact that I was just about to head out on my 9-week promo tour with Warner Music shortly after.
So I think we've established that you're a hard worker. I think we've all figured that out. We're going to open up. If anybody has any questions for Brett during this too,
I'd really like to answer them, yeah, please.
We'll get to that as well. I guess now, with the success coming and everything else, what keeps you grounded? What keeps you kind of on an even keel during all this? Because you're getting more attention, it seems, every day. I mean, you're on national television, you're going internationally, introducing yourself to people. What brings you down and kind of reminds you who you are when you're that farm kid, you know?
Well, I think that great credit goes to my wife and to my parents as well. Traveling with her for the most part, 90% of the shows that I do, I'm very normal because she's there to really keep me grounded. I can go out and perform and have a great time up on stage, but you know, I'm a soon-to-be dad. I've got my dog Charlie. I mean, he needs to be fed and watered. Sometimes he can leave a present on the pad in the dressing room that I've got to clean up, and it just keeps the guy grounded. And you know, my mom and my dad growing up on a farm. To be frank, they just don't take bullshit from anybody, and that includes me. So I could, you know, I've just played the Canadian Country Music Awards. I've just won a Juno Award. I've literally just hung out and spent a day with Garth Brooks. It's pretty cool, but they don't really care because chores got to get done when I go back home. And the last part is my band. These guys have been with me for years. They've seen the rise. They also really don't take shit from me. Even though I'm the lead singer, we're all in this together, and we all had the tough gigs at the beginning. We still have tough gigs from time to time, and they keep me grounded because we're all in this together, and we're all equal parts of the rise to fame that we've had.
It's the internet, so we can cuss all over this hell damn fart.
Okay, that's right.
Totally off topic here. What are your socks?
I wear a pair of funky socks every day of my life.
Yeah, what do you got?
So these ones are mini dachshunds. And I also wear 2 pairs of socks every day of my life too.
Really?
Yeah, every day.
Why?
My feet are always cold.
So what's the other one then?
Well, no, they're just regular. So I wear a pair of regular socks, and these are just regular grays.
Now, would it be there's like a Superman sock underneath?
No, I got crazy ones. Strawberries, farm socks, whiskey bottles, Molson Canadian logos, Cowboys, whatever. Just a lot of dog socks.
All right, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Yes, please.
Tonight's the show. You're headlining. You got a young kid on this story named Jordan McIntosh. You're in the role now where you were the guy under the wing of the Paul Brands and Gord Bamford, I guess you could say in there. I remember Aaron Burchett bringing up on stage when you were younger. I mean, the list goes on and on of all these artists that kind of taken it. Now you've got Jordan, who's making a name for himself out there as well. Well, are you passing along any tips to him, or is he teaching you anything?
Well, it goes both ways. I mean, J-Mac is a great entertainer. And
J-Mac, do you call him that, or does he make you call him that?
I call him J-Mac.
Okay.
One day for the CCMAs, he let the makeup artist, when you're going to be on TV, you got to wear makeup for the most part, and he let the makeup artist go a little too crazy with his makeup. That it was honestly so dark that he looked like Ross from Friends after the Spray Tan episode. So, I mean, I call him Ross, I call him Goldie, but for the most part, I call him J-Mac.
We're doing a podcast with him after this.
Yeah.
And Mark from our promo team does on-air work with Big Dog.
Nice.
He literally asked me the other day, he's like, I saw a picture of George McIntosh. Why does he look so orange?
Well, yeah, because on one of those photos, it's so funny. It's because of the CCMAs, and I don't blame Jordan.
You said it, right? Yeah.
And I don't really blame Jordan for it because the makeup artist, I mean, you go and then sometimes, they slap on a bunch of makeup and then go. You just got to go.
Jordan, are you here too?
Oh, yeah, J-Mac's right there.
Come here.
So J-Mac and I, we're learning a lot from each other. I mean, guys, I can't call him a kid because he's only a few years younger than I am, but just an outstanding individual. This is Jordan McIntosh. Here, make some noise.
You're getting a shot here. Just block that Brett Kissel. There's only 500 more of them around here.
That's right, yeah.
We don't need
All right, so
you can see, this is your typical mid-afternoon Jordan McIntosh, pre-stage makeup and pre-hair done. But
you're not so orange right now, but
no, it's
why are you so orange?
It was like a one-time thing. People think that it happens all the time. It doesn't. It was a one thing, you guys.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing, but we create within the band. We've all got a group text that goes on, and it gets, we go out of control with it. But it was like a meme of him and Ross side by side, and because he's tall and dark and handsome like Ross is, these guys looked identical. It was crazy.
I like how he calls you one of the most ridiculous pictures in the world, but still pads up with compliments. That gets away.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
He tears you down while bringing you up.
Yeah.
A lot of mixed emotions.
But it's what I've learned of being on tour with, especially with Brad Paisley, is Brad is the ultimate prankster. So we've wanted to make sure that we prank, Jordan and his crew as often as we can. You'll notice that they've got inner monitors, so you can't hear what they hear, but that's where they hear all their sound, the music and everything. And often we'll plug in a microphone into that, and you can't see us, we're side stage, and we're making noises. We are just being complete idiots into Jordan's mix, or into Connor's mix, or Christopher, who's backup guys. And just the other day, when we were, where were we?
I don't know.
Was it Campbell? No, Cranbrook. I hid in the back of their van, their rental van.
Oh, I was in on this. So
That's right, Jordan was in on this, and Cecile, it was late night after Boston Pizza, and we had a couple drinks, and Victoria was driving. Cecilia didn't want to walk back to the hotel. It was freezing cold. So everyone hops into the van, and I hopped into the trunk prior. Nobody knew except Jordan and my wife. And they're all asking, where's Brett? Where's Brett? Oh, he walked back to the hotel. So that's fine. So we waited, and about 5 minutes go by, and everyone just talking and carrying on and having a blast. And then I popped out of the back. I grabbed Chris, his guitar player, by the hair, grabbed him by the hair, and I went, "Give me all your money!" And they just lost it. They were screaming like
I'm really glad I was in on it, because one of my biggest fears is somebody hiding in my trunk and popping out while I'm driving. I would have died.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk to you in a bit. I'm Jordan McIntosh, everybody.
Thank you. Continue to talk about me like I'm not in the room.
Well, we were trying to, and then you came in the room. That was the problem.
I heard it all.
Perfect. Well, and that's just it. We got a show to do tonight, so I know we got to get ready for that. I do want to open it up to anybody. Does anybody have any questions you'd like to ask Brett right now? Anything at all?
I have one.
Okay,
Yes.
We'll start here, and then I'll come over here and see you. So we'll go over here.
My question is, how has your fame impacted, your down-earth family roots? Because you seem like the guy who just goes and it's you're in sweats, you're hanging out with your family, getting ready for this baby, and then the next night you'll be performing for hundreds of people.
Those are actually jeggings he's wearing right now.
Yeah.
Just so you know. They're not actually jeans anymore.
Well, you know what? That's a great question, and it's a difficult balance because in some ways it's two different people. You have to have a kind of a larger than life, persona up on stage, whereas when I'm hanging out back home or we're just going to a movie, it's completely different. I think because I play country music, it gives me an opportunity to play both roles and to be okay with it. If you're in pop music, what you're doing off stage is as equally important to attract paparazzi and to create controversy and to be larger than life, to not sit in a restaurant unless you're in the private room, or to not go to a movie unless you've rented out the entire theater. I love interacting with my fans, and I love hanging out with my family. So when I'm in a ball cap and a hoodie, I'm just hanging out with everybody, and it's very important for me to be normal and to maintain those relationships, especially with my friends, because prior to having songs on the radio, we were all hanging out, watching hockey, going to movies together. So it's important to find that balance and to never lose that. And because I'm a country singer, I believe that it gives me the opportunity to stay grounded, whereas if I was a rock star or a pop star, I think it would be completely different.
Just empty bottles everywhere.
Empty bottles, booze,
Clothes
drugs,
that aren't your
crazy.
own, just whatever you want. Okay, I'm gonna go over here now. This is awkward to walk in front of the camera, but that's okay. Your name is?
Nicole.
And your question is?
Just about when, kind of in relation to what you're saying with your singing, like songwriting. So when you're telling a story about you, your life as it is. Like I can just think of a few of your videos. Is it based upon experiences and real life and of your wife that's in the one video and
Right.
the puppy? Like I just think, and when I listen to country music, I always think of it as a story.
Of course.
And you know, is it a personal connection when you write your songs?
Absolutely. When it comes to a personal connection to, to my songs and my songwriting, there's a lot of, personality that will come into it and personal experiences. That's important to me, I think, in order for me to sell and deliver properly what I'm singing and speaking about on stage. The songs on my new record that I haven't written were carefully selected to either be written by friends of mine in Nashville or in Canada, or to talk about topics that I would have written about on my own anyway. So that way I'm not really grasping to find a concept and to sell this to my fans. The videos, on the other hand, for the most part, if it's an up-tempo song, the videos speak on true experience. Started with a song, Raise Your Glass, Airwaves, that kind of stuff, especially when it's fun, that's me. Those are often my friends in videos, so that we're actually portraying what goes on a Friday night, hanging out, sitting at a bonfire, passing the guitar around, drinking some whiskey, having some fun. Videos like 3-2-1, or my most recent video, Pick Me Up, are very emotional, and those videos touch on a different side of my brain that talk about what could be. 3-2-1 in particular was a very crazy concept for a video that my director and I came up with, that we wanted to have it be like an action movie, we wanted it to have a wow factor. Pick Me Up, we're trying to do the same thing with it, because losing someone, you can lose someone to a breakup, or you can lose someone because of loss of life. So we wanted to go to the most extreme side of things to really pull on the heartstrings of our fans in the Pick Me Up video.
Have you ever had your ass kicked in real life like you did in the 3-2-1 video?
No, I've never been in a fight. And the guy that was a part of the video, he was on Sons of Anarchy for 2 or 3 seasons. So a legit actor, a real badass, the type of guy that when he and I are getting to know each other, we're sitting in the car together, side by side. I'm duct taped up, I've got the makeup on, and I'm kind of all battered and bruised. We're sitting side by side for hours as we're getting these takes. And I was just spitballing, just thinking of conversation. I said, I wonder how much a hit like this would actually cost. 10,000. That's what he said, right off the gate. I'm like, how do you know these things? He's like, I've been around, I know a lot of things. I'm thinking, like, this guy's legit. And that was like our only conversation. Like, sometimes
How do you
guys,
follow up that conversation?
you don't
You
talk to him
can't.
for the rest of the day because you're afraid that he's like. So when he came in for the couple punches at the beginning, he said, I'm going to connect, but it's not going to hurt. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Like, I thought this was supposed to be acting. And sure enough, he connected, but he stopped just as it like grazed my nose or grazed my stomach. So these punches look real. And he grabs my hair in the first punch, and he yanks on my hair to make it look real, because the first couple takes honestly looked a little too dainty.
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy. It was a lot of fun to do that video, but it got to some crazy parts.
This has been a lot of fun. We got to wrap it up. You got to get ready for a show here. I want to thank all you guys from Big Dog 92.7, winning by listening to the radio station, for joining us here today. I hope you had fun.
Thank you,
And
guys.
one more time, big hand for Brett Kissel, everybody.